All right, it is recording live. 14, right? Or 4? Whole lot more stuff, isn't it? So now that you got more stuff, we got longer tests. All right, training and conditioning principles. So you can see why we have these folks do the bike, the multi-hip, the stair climber, the elliptical, etc. Because they'll come in here and they'll say, "Why do we got to do that? That's not what hurts." Because all of it goes together. The greatest modality as far as in athletic training is exercise. All of that is the supplemental stuff, although they think that's the primary stuff. But when they come in fifth period and they're on the bike and they're doing weights and they're doing other certain things, that's the primary. That's what gets you well. That is feel-good therapy. Although you'll find out that mostly your high school kids think that that's the primary and that's what gets you well, and that's not the case. So, training for a particular sport, that's crossover training. You ever hear of crossover? All right, you never, like crossover shoes? That way they can do more than one thing. They can do basketball, but yet at the same time you can use them for for running. All right? So crossover training or cross training is training for a particular sport that involves substitution of alternative activities that have carryover to that sport. So how about this? How about cross country? Anybody ever been in cross country? And you see the soccer kids in cross country also? Is there a positive carryover to help a soccer athlete do cross country in the fall? What is that? We're talking about cross training. But the cardio, soccer is constantly go, 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 go. So if you can't do soccer after school, join cross country. You can do that and you can get your cardiovascular conditioning while participating in a different sport. So a swimmer trains using jogging, all right, maintains the level of cardiorespiratory conditioning. So crossover training. You do one sport, but actually you're doing it so you can get better in another sport. See how it has a positive carryover, it crosses over, so that's cross training. All right? This is an absolute listing question. Okay? Now, the first one says warm up and cool down. That's one answer. Warm up and cool down is one answer. So if you write on the listing question, warm up, and then the next one you write cool down, you're going to get credit for one, and the other's going to be wrong. Huh? No, just answer it like it's written here. So you have warm up and cool down, motivation, overload principle. You have consistency, progression, intensity, specificity. Got that one? Throw that one. Got that one? You want to throw that one back at me? Specificity. All right. You also have, which is continued, individuality. You minimize of stress, and absolutely, you got to have safety. I'm going to go through them. All right. So here's the warm up. I say we're going through them. Let's look and see. Do I have to tell you about them all? Unless I can find some. No, we're going to go through them. All right. So you've got to know what these things are in order to try and remember them, right? So let's talk about it. Warm up and cool down. We will cover warm up and cool down. You first go out to practice, you need to warm up. Should you stretch before you warm up? No. Absolutely not. Why? If I had two individuals, and let's say they're identical twins, so they even have the same DNA, right? And they both ran a 10.1 100 yards. Both of them can run 10.1. Every time it's a tie. Okay? Let's go one day that we go out there and we say, Jimmy is going to jog for a mile before he races, and Joey is going to stretch. Who's going to win, Jimmy or Joey? Why is Jimmy going to win? He is warmed up, but this guy stretched. You know, everything you hear from people who have no idea and teach you kids how to do athletics from the time you're 6 tell you that stretching is paramount, right? Is that not right? Anybody done club volleyball when you're little, or club baseball, soccer, club something? Huh? Yeah. What's the first thing y'all did? Would run. Okay, well that's good. Then what? So Jimmy over here, he'd win. Why does he win? Because he warmed up. I'm going to talk about that here in a bit. This one here, stretch. Stretching without warm up predisposes you to pulling your muscles, running slower, and being most likely the one that gets injured. You hadn't heard that before, have you? Doesn't make any sense. If you're going to stretch, you stretch after you are done your workout. All of it. Okay? What about this this stuff, this butt kick? You know what I'm saying? You run down and you try and kick your butt. You know what that causes? Causes injuries to your quads. What about those majorette deals where you kick them up like that? That causes injuries to your hamstring. Just go run a mile. Break a sweat. Once you break a sweat, now your body's heated up from the inside out. Those little hydroculator pads, do they actually heat up muscle? No. What's between it and the muscle? What kind of tissue? You've got skin. What's underneath skin? But it's between the muscle and the skin. Muscle between the muscle and the skin. How about fat? You know, fat's also an insulator. Not only does it not allow heat to get out, but also insulates it from the other side coming in. So, motivation. You've got to be motivated in order to work out. If you're not motivated, you're going to get hurt. You're not going to show up. So you got to have motivation in order to make yourself better. How about overload? Do you know what overload principle is? Huh? It's not working out too much. We're actually overloading the muscle. So let's say that, I know this is only 1 pound and this is only 2 pounds, but let's say that this is 100 pounds, right? And I'm doing a bench press with 100 pounds. And I've been doing that bench press with 100 pounds now for the last 6 years. Am I getting any stronger? Why? Because I'm using the same weight. Now that I've done 100 pounds, now, and I can do it 3 sets of 10 times, why don't I just go up to 120? I can get 10, then I can get 8, then I might get 5. Okay? Now I do that until I'm better, and then I overload again and do that. How about this? With the overload principle on cardio conditioning. Okay, so somebody break out your pencil. I want you to add this up. All right? So let's say that I run 10 miles, 7 days a week. How many miles am I going to run for the week? Okay, 70. Am I getting any better? Why? I'm not taxing the body. I'm not telling it to say I'm not breaking it down anymore. I'm just going to consistently do 7 miles. I might be the greatest in 7 miles, but I'm not going to get any better. How about this? So let's write these numbers down. Let's go on Monday. Let's go 7 miles. Okay? On Tuesday, let's go 14 miles. On Wednesday, let's do 7 miles. On Thursday, let's go back to 7. Where are we at? I can't read this. This is highlight. How many? We're doing 7, 14, 7, 14, 7 on Friday, and 21 on Saturday. Big day Saturday. We're going to do 21 miles. How many miles is that? Well, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 70 miles. I get Sunday off. There's 70 miles. So I'm doing the same amount, but I'm using the overload principle. And because I'm doing a light day, a moderate day, a light day, a moderate day, a light day, and an overload day, I'm going to get better as opposed to running 7 days, 10 miles. You see? It's the same amount, same distance. So overload. If you do the same thing over and over and don't overload, you won't get better. Consistency. You've got to be in the gym on those days. Now, if I say consistency on that, let's say that overload principle is running right then. We start off in January, and we did our 70 miles the first week. Next week, we say, I did pretty good last week. I'll go 49 miles. Blow off the big bad last one, and blow off another one. And then the next week, we'll go 35. You've got to have consistency. You got to keep up with the pace that you're doing. If you slack off, you're not going to get the same amount of results as if you are consistently doing your workout. Progression. All right? Have you seen our bands over, those bands that we have? They come in different colors. Yellow and green, or yellow, red, green, blue, black. Why are they different colors? Because they're harder to use. So once we start out with the yellow. Let's say we got a shoulder injury. We start out, we're doing yellow. Once we're able to master it, we go to the next one, and it's progression. We keep going more and more and more. Okay? Intensity. Do we know what intensity is? Huh? What? You got to be in it, right? Yes, your intensity needs to be well worth your time. Now, I can have Emma here ride the bike, and I say, ride the bike for 20 minutes. And if that's the only direction that I give her, then it's up to her of what intensity she's going to ride that bike. She might ride that bike slower than a 3-year-old on a 4th of July parade. Okay? And then what we'll do is we'll ask her to wave to everybody as they come in with their best parade wave. All right? Or what we'll do is we'll increase her intensity as far as resistance and tell her that she needs to keep a certain work level so that that 20 minutes, which is still constant, she gets more out of it. So your intensity as far as you working out, you need to bump it up. All right? Specificity. All right? It's specific. Okay? So, how about if I am, and this is the thing that just kills me about football strength training. Okay? How many positions are there out there? I mean, let's not lump them all. Well, there's 22 kids that are playing at a time. But let's say offensive lineman, defensive lineman, right? You got wide receivers, linebackers, running back, quarterback. Right, so you got 6 people, 6 different positions. How many different workouts do most football programs have, especially in high school? 1. I've got 6 different positions that have 6 different specific actions. If I'm a defensive back, am I running as much backwards as what I am forwards? Yeah. When I'm backpedaling, right? Why is that group not working their hamstrings just as much or more than what they're working their quads? All right? If I am an offensive lineman, Is there any time that when I'm an offensive lineman that I should have my hands up in the air? No. So why am I doing great big lifts over my head like this? How does that make me better as an offensive lineman? I've yet to see how it does. How about if I'm doing bench press? Because when I'm in my position and somebody's trying to come, I'm punching him, right? Boom, boom. I think I'd rather spend my time teaching him to do bench press than doing clean and jerks up here. All right? How many times is a quarterback going to be doing the same thing of boom, boom? He's not doing that. So, yeah, he needs to do bench press, but not near like what an offensive lineman should. But at the same time, that guy needs to be doing a rotator cuff problems or a rotator cuff program to prevent throwing injuries. Okay? So when you get out in the world, if you become somebody that's going to take care of these kids, you can go to the coach and say, Coach, we need, hey, let's try this. Now realize that you very well may be met with quite a bit of resistance because there's this old saying, we've been doing this for 40 years. Okay, you might be doing that for 40 years. But just because you do something over a finite amount of time doesn't make what you're doing right. Okay? Let's see what we got there. Specificity. What's the next one? Okay. Individuality. All right, let's break down specificity clear into individuality. All right? I've got one offensive lineman who is 5'8". I got another one that's 6'8". All right? Yeah. So we might have to change one thing or another. I've got one kid who has a problem when he does squats, and he always gets patellar tendonitis. So let's take him off of squats and put him on a leg press. So one, he doesn't get hurt, and two, he can continue to get stronger by doing a very similar exercise. All right? Now that might not just be individually, but it might be individuality by sport too. So what about minimize stress? All right, anybody know what plyometrics are? You know those boxes? You jump up on the boxes and you jump down, you jump up, you jump down. You know those boxes? Are those boxes safe for everybody to do? No, you need to have a certain strength level. And if you don't have that certain strength level and you haven't met that requirement, then you shouldn't do them. Because if you do them, you're more likely to end up being hurt with tendonitis problems. So by knowing that, I mean I need to minimize my stress. And then, of course, safety. You always need to have somebody spotting you. You need to make sure that if you're all of a sudden going to start doing a cardio workout and you haven't in a long time, go see your doctor. How's your heart? Do you want to start a cardio conditioning program right now? And if so, what's the max that you should do? How long should you do it? All right? So absolute minimum, the absolute minimum is 20 minutes at 80% of your max heart rate. And we know how to get that, right? Our max heart rate? You know how to get that number? Take 220 minus your age. That's your maximum heart rate. That's as fast as your heart should go. And then what you do is you times that by 0.8. So that's 80% of your max heart rate. So 80% of your max heart rate, you do that for 20 minutes, five times a week, and you're going to find out real soon that when you climb up and down those steps, you're not stuck in wind like you used to. All right. The physiology of warm-up. Let's see what you got here, brother. The physiology of warm-up will be manana.